Welcome to the People's Show. Today is the 5th of December. In a couple of days, the year will come to an end. And we're all going to reflect on how the year went, what we were able to achieve, what we were not able to achieve. But irrespective of everything, we should be grateful. Because it's not everybody who made it. It's not everybody who is still alive. It's not everybody who is even well and healthy. But we are here. We are not sick. You are watching me. I'm speaking to you. So let's be grateful. Let's appreciate life. Let's appreciate the moment, the now, the present, that we're here. And it's not everybody who's had what we have. So let's just be grateful for being here, for even making it to the end of the year. Now, back to the People's Show. On the People's Show today, we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about the 2023 budget. We're going to deal with all the issues that you and I need to be aware, to be educated, to be informed. And we have a special guest who is going to help us to understand the issues. And very soon, I'm going to introduce him to the show. So don't go away. The People's Show will be right back.
Studios 2
TV.
The truth is here in your eyes.
Welcome back to the People's Show. Now, today for my motivation, I want to just motivate you a little. What I want to tell you is this. Focus on what you can do. Focus on what you can give. Focus on what you know you can easily do. Don't focus on what you don't have. Don't focus on the skills you don't have. Don't focus on what you know you cannot do. Focus on your strength. Focus on what you know you can do. Add value to that so that you add strength and strength and strength to your skills, to your whatever you know you can do. Don't ever look down on what you can do, because you might be the only person, the only one in the whole universe who can offer that service, who can offer that skill. So let's focus on what we can do. Let's focus on what we can add, not what we can take, not what we don't have. Let's always remember that we've all been blessed with gifts, with skills, with talents. And sometimes what we can easily do, we put aside and we'll be roaming about trying to do things we cannot do. So today on the People's Show, we're saying focus on what you have. Focus on your talent and nurture it. Focus on what you can give and let it grow. And stop looking at what you don't have. Stop looking at what you cannot do. Because if you cannot do, you cannot do. There's nothing you can do about it. Let's focus on our strength. Let's focus on the value we add to things. And let's make this world a better place. This is my inspiration and my motivation to you on the People's Show. Now, let's talk about the real substantive issue, the 2023 budget. And we're joined on the show by Franklin Asare Donko Jr., who is a social commentator and a seasoned journalist who will help us, give us the understanding, the knowledge, the information, so that you and I will be what? Aware, will be informed, will be knowledgeable on what to do, on how to what? Manage our situation, so that we don't cross the line, so that we understand what we are in. So, Franklin, welcome to the People's Show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me once again.
Great. Franklin, the last time you were here, we really enjoyed the time we shared with you. Today we want to talk about the 2023 budget. You know, if you want to sample what people are saying, or how do I put it? What people think, well, they don't see solution coming from the 2023 budget. And some of us believe that it is an IMF budget or policy which was presented to us as a budget for Ghana for the year 2023. And before I get into the issues that we think the budget didn't solve, I want to just ask you your personal opinion on the 2023 budget. Tell us what you saw in it. What do you take from it?
To be sincere with you, I share the pain Ghanaians are going through. Because if you ask me, Ghana, we claim to be independent. Yeah, that will to do things on your own is there, within you. But where is the financial independence? I hear you mentioning IMF. Is the budget an IMF budget or not? Ghana, since Kosibochu's time, the late Kosibochu's time, every budget is sent to these multilateral agencies to vet before it comes. Because those who are supposed to man and run the country are so reckless. I can tell you on authority, 100%, that where Ghana is at the moment,
Yeah.
it's not because of COVID or Russia-Ukraine war. That's why Ghana, we are where we are today. It's because of greed, recklessness, and the hatred in in the part of certain characters. Why? In Africa, you must have money to become a successful politician or a successful business person. Today you see businessmen are owning television stations, owning radio stations, going into insurance, going into banking. That's where the money is. So they can raise substantial money to do what they want to do. But all these businesses claim to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Who do they do business with? The state.
Yeah.
You've gone to borrow money to build Kotoka International Airport, Terminal 3. You're going to bring in Nigerians to come and man the place. You're going to bring Nigerians to come and man the place. And their workers are so disrespectful that even when there's issue to be addressed, you don't even see who to.
So what is it that you are against? Is it the Nigerians, or what is it? What is your beef? I want to understand the idea.
Why should you go and borrow money, put up a facility? You can go and borrow money, put up a facility, but you can't manage that facility on your own. So instead of Ghana having 100% of whatever comes, the private person takes sometimes 50 or 60 and give you 40. If Ghana is property of any of the people managing the country today, is that how they will run it? Is that how Kenofrata is running his data bank? Is that how he's running his insurance companies?
So the idea of reckless mismanagement is at play here.
Look, your economy is down. Look at the banking sector, so-called banking sector cleanup. You were required to push in a little less than 10 million Ghana cedis to sustain all the banks, to sustain all the people who are working there. But because you think certain people have political ambition, we should destroy their businesses. And this current government and his cronies sat down and put up a well-rehearsed plan. And that's what they executed. If you read that, something.
Yeah.
See everything
They
chronologically listed. Who to destroy, who to bring down, and how to steal. What are we seeing today? So Ghana is not here because there has been. But if a small country like Ukraine, within 3-4 months, because of war, the prices of your staple foods have skyrocketed, then you have nothing no business, claiming you are an independent country, claiming you are, what are you managing? What's the president presiding over?
Franklin, we'll come back to that. I want to ask you, the main thing that I took from the 2023 budget was the policy of freezing public sector employment, which we've seen over and over again. That's why actually people think this is an IMF condition. Because I remember even before this government came to power, we also had an IMF condition where government was not supposed to employ, the public sector. And I was so angry with such a policy, why a multinational financial institution will tell us, don't employ your public sector. And we'll have to kowtow to this because we are almost like a beggar. Or we are, you know what I mean? So we cannot continue like this. What do you talk about? What do you say about the freezing of the public sector employment within this 2023 budget thing? What do you think of it?
Well, you see, you are going to borrow somebody's money. And go with the when monies were given to people so they will tell you what to use the money for. It's like going for a loan from any of the commercial banks. You should put in a proposal. They will have to look at it and see that, no, when we give you this money, what you say you are going to use for can either be positive or negative.
But Franklin, these guys...
So they will just go through your
proposal,
GDP.
yeah.
You take revenue, you take taxes, you go and borrow, you do everything. And the public sector, the people who are on government's payroll, out of over 33 million Ghanaians, it's not up to 40% of the population. The last time it was it 600,000 or so. And you are spending over 70% of your revenue to pay people. So what do you have to do? Projects and other programs. So that is there. Now I always say, if you are not disciplined, people will come from their house to discipline you. People will come from outside to tell you what to do. And that's exactly what is happening. Now, you are churning out university graduates around 23,000, also if my memory serves me right, every year. So if we are going to freeze employment for 3 years, and this 20-something thousand, less than 10% gets employed into the public and civil servant sector.
Yeah.
Just less than 10%. So you ask yourself, where does the rest go? That's why we are having a lot of unemployment rates now. So even the 10% from this 20-something thousand students annually, if we are going to stop engaging them for 3 years, 23,000 and over plus will be in the house. And if you read what the finance minister said, what they intend to do to normalize the situation, aggressively mobilize domestic revenue. This is nothing new.
Aggressively mobilize domestic revenue. It's
Then
like
the
a
second
cliche.
point is to streamline and rationalize expenditure.
To streamline and rationalize expenditure.
Why? Why should in 2022 we are now coming back home to realize that we need to mobilize revenue? It's now coming home to realize that we need to cut our quota according to our size. Is it now that you realize all these things? So if all these things are there, which are basic principles in financial
Economics.
accounting and
Yeah.
all those things, if this is now that you are realizing after 6 years, then they have failed. But you see, the whole thing is that people are not in position of trust to help the nation. They all came to enrich themselves.
But you know what? This, when it comes to this issue, maybe one day we need to have a special show for this thing. You know, because of our orientation and our mentality, because of colonialism, because of all that, when we are doing something for the state, for government, we always look at it like a bindia. And I know the whole history comes from colonialism, where we thought, oh, that's the white man's job. So people don't put in their maximum best. It's the same thing we do with our country. With the workers, public workers, we don't work hard. We don't put in our maximum best. And it's the same thing with handling and managing our country. We don't give our best because it is always there. Somebody has to take care of that. And your media, it's not my responsibility. Look at the way the government is behaving. They don't care. Because in their mentality, leave it for others to be responsible for that. So when are we really going to be taking charge of our own? Look, nothing will change about our situation, frankly, if we are always importing. We are not manufacturing. Oh, there's nothing we are manufacturing. Look, toothpick, we are importing.
Yeah, but you see, my basic economics taught me that you produce to earn. So, what are we producing?
That's the point. That's the
what
point.
Are we producing?
That was the point I was making earlier. That we are not manufacturing anything. We are not
earn.
producing anything so that we also have that power.
Your so-called secondary or tertiary manufacturing companies in the country does not belong to any of the indigenes. At the end of the year, whatever the capital fight, they take everything. Those into gold. Gold is bringing a lot of money. Who are those running that sector? They take their gold, they go and sell it, and they deposit the money into their accounts.
Foreign
the money
accounts.
doesn't even get to Ghana for you to do. There's no proper system to ensure that people pay the right taxes and everything.
When it comes
Only
to that,
few people are paying taxes. Look at the economy now. If you are doing elsewhere, people are giving tax incentives, people are giving tax holiday, people are giving some stipends to live on. But come to Ghana, we are rather taxing the people to death. Now taxes alone is choking everybody. You understand? Taxes alone. Now, the best thing in the thinking of the finance minister and his people is to be adding more taxes so that people will pay. And the people who pay taxes are the very few people who are paying the taxes. What are you doing to expand the tax net so that everybody will be on board? You always bring decisions that will force people to do the back pass thing to free themselves. We shouldn't be so.
so what are we going to do, especially for young people who, like you said earlier, with all these thousands and millions of people coming out, graduating from the university every year, and then we are all coming into this sector, this space where there are no jobs, governments cannot employ, and the situation does not look good. It doesn't give hope to the youth.
See where we've gotten to a point of hopelessness. Talk to any of these young boys and girls around, and everybody has a notion that they should travel. What is working out there that is not working here. Ghana is an agricultural-based economy. Côte d'Ivoire is putting up a factory worth over $100 million, cocoa processing factory, to ensure that in the next few years, raw cocoa will not get out of Côte d'Ivoire. If anything at all, will be a secondary or tertiary product that they can add, put premium on. What are we doing? Côte d'Ivoire is expanding its cocoa base. Here, we've allowed Galamsey, which is being operated by party people and so-called influential people in the society, to destroy the little you have. We are not even thinking of increasing what you have. Somewhere in 2014 or 2016, we were able to have about 1 million tons
of cocoa
beans. Check where it have dropped to.
So what's going on? Is it that the current managers of the economy are to blame, or is it that we, the people ourselves, our work ethic and attitude is responsible? What is it, frankly? What is it?
When I hear people blaming workers for some of this negative growth, I beg to differ. Why? Bureaucratic inertia is what is killing this country. You see this phone line here, where it is no good. Somebody have to pick it, but there's no credit on it to do course. The person who is supposed to give the money is sitting somewhere. Letters upon letters will go. Sometimes they don't even reply you. So things that can be taken, say, a minute or two to correct it, it will be there for 2-3 years. And before it gets done, everything is worse. Everything goes down. Why? So, don't we know that most of our products are seasonal products? For example, plantain. We are in the season of plantain. Go to any community where there's farming. If you go and cause any confusion, they will use plantain to beat you. Yet we saw the Greek minister selling plantain, claiming they are so-called plantain for food and job. It's Iroden resort.
Oh, but come on, Franklin, isn't it some result? I mean, let's not downplay the advantages.
So
that policy.
I just came from Central Region.
Yeah.
The Ekunfi and the Gumbwa Enclave. Ekunfi Enclave is not where farming is real. No, the land they normally do well in maize production, pepper, okra, watermelon. But coming from there, I saw a lot of people selling plantain on the roadside. Right? And if you've been into farming before, if you come from any rural community, you see that from August, September, October, November going. By January, you won't see plantain again. So I'm urging the minister, like those private companies doing production of banana, when you go to Akoso and other things. This is not seasonal. Consciously planting, so always they have. So I would love to see the minister by 15 July, January or 31st January. You should go and bring plantain to come and sell to us. That is where I believe that, he's planting for food and jobs.
I see that's some fruit. I think I now understand what you mean. Meaning you are saying we are in the season of plantain in abundance, so you can't use that.
Plantain. And after plantain, what are you going to use to eat the plantain?
What are you going to use to eat the plantain? That means you're coming back to the issue of tomatoes, the onions, the fish, the meat, and everything.
See, when people want to pray to the gallery, they can't have anything without thinking. And I always tell you that our so-called leaders jump before they think of where to land. Look, when this government came into power, There were official vehicles for the MMDCs. He came and bought new ones for them. What was there?
You mean
Toyota.
say that again? When the government came to power, there were
Yes.
official vehicles
So
from
for all
the
the MMDCs.
MMDCs, but the government chose
go
to
back?
buy new
He's got
vehicles.
to. And his own, what the MPP government bought was the Nissan type, the big one. Now, 5 years down, you come and tell me that MMDCs and other people are not supposed to use V8 or cross-country vehicles. When you get to the MMDC, these are the only cars available to the MMDCs. So if you come and tell me they shouldn't use it, what other alternative is there for them to use? And for us to see the effectiveness of that policy, what they should have done was to first off, or recall all these vehicles, put it in a pool, then people can apply when you are going to ABCD. And we all have all the ministry have their plans and programs way ahead before the year starts. So we know where you go, what you should do, what all these things, all this coming. Then you plan towards that. The cars are with them. You tell me they shouldn't use it. How are you going to monitor it? What was the other alternative that they use?
So Franklin, from listening to you, what I gather is we are living in a space or a country or a geographical location where there's no hope for the young generation.
You don't plan. There's no proper planning. Like we keep saying, the 1992 Constitution was for stabilization purpose. It has outlived its usefulness.
Purpose.
Let's come up with a constitution that is development
Oriented.
so that we can move. Look, those days there were state farms. So the child who could not go to secondary school after middle school leaving certificate gets something to do. Those doing agric will man the agri division, the soil protection, seed production, and all those things. They move out there. Today, all these things are not there. Factories, warehouses have been turned into churches.
Yes.
And you see these so-called pastors and prophets happily jumping around, turning a factory which employs people into a church. And you see people from Monday to Monday, people are there.
Isn't it because there's no hope for them, and the idea of religion or God or will give them some sense of hope or some...
The church I knew of in the 80s and in the early 90s is not what we are seeing today. Those days, church became the last resort for people who are oppressed, people who have given up hope and all those things. Today, that is the least place you can go, even if you're a church member. You say, my landlord has ejected me, and today I want to sleep at the church hall. And see if they allow you to sleep there. So we need to change the constitution. We need to have a national plan, not political party manifesto. Political party manifesto.
But Franklin, this thing, national plan, constitution, it's like I keep hearing them all the time. And this idea of a national plan, because we said we have a 40-year plan, and then you don't know what happens, and then something different comes, everybody comes and they have their own idea, and I don't know what's going on with us. I think young people today, people like you and I, we need to just go the extra mile, because Franklin, I don't think it's enough for you and I to sit here and then just dissect the matter, because it looks like there's nobody out there, even in the leadership and management of our economy, who truly cares about the future, about young people. I mean, we cannot bring millions and millions of people into the from the universities, graduates, and they have nothing to do. It's so dangerous.
I see. The structure, I always say society is governed by laws. And we are the disadvantage because the people who are supposed to make those changes are the very people which the system favors.
Yeah.
So this one, when they will talk blah 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 when we can this day, but when he can, because it's favoring him, they won't do anything. But gradually we get there. A day will come that people will stand up and say
it's enough.
It's enough, and things will work. I see, like we said, our current society and the kind of people we have is not so helping matters. Corruption. I always say corruption is being generated or being orchestrated or being prepared from the church, from the home, and from families. But in the church, when there's harvest, those who bring out fat envelopes are the people they give position to. So what do you think the one sitting next who doesn't have food do? Those putting those big monies, where do they get the monies from? Has anybody, any pastor come out to say, you came and gave $10,000 as your tithe? I know the work you do doesn't. Is there any way you get something different that gives you money? Then you encourage people to live within their means. But when they bring it, let's pray for him. He has bring this thing. Somebody, a JHS guy, a SHS guy, comes out and comes home with car. And the next one, you see the family going to thank God for giving their award a car. What work has that person done to raise enough revenue to go and buy a car? We ask. In America and Europe, those days, there's a saying that in their laws, when you accuse somebody of corruption or corrupt practices, you have to prove it. And so that there's no way under the sun that you, me sitting here saying you are corrupt, can go and prove it, or that somebody has given bribe. Who will record bribe giving? So they know the work you are doing. They know how much everybody raised. They know how much you spend on rent, utility, food, clothing. Then something little you save. So when you come out with anything, the state asks you to come and prove where you got those things from. So that at least there are few criminals out there, but everybody. Why? Why is that British company, when you even go outside the jurisdiction of Britain, as an international company, you go and work in Africa, Asia, or wherever it is, and they see some trace of corruption, they ban your company. Why? Why can't we do same?
I think your issue is boiled down to values. The values that we are holding today, they've changed from like the values that you were saying like in the 80s, and because right now money is the God. So like you were saying, once you go to the church and you give money, you are treated like a VIP because you have brought in money, and nobody wants to know how you got it, where you got it, what you did for that money. But what's important is you came to the church and you offered to pay whatever, whether your tithe, whatever. And so they treat you like you are special, because money is the God of our society today, and maybe everywhere in the world. But maybe that needs to change.
I always tell people that there's a reason that some of these old proverbs and wise sayings, Sankofa Yenchi. As we sit here, Ghana, we don't know our values. We don't have one now.
You mean Ghana? We don't have
whether
value.
We are on the right or we are on the left. Our tradition is gone. America has tradition. British, they have their tradition.
But we also have our
The
traditions.
Asians have their traditions. The Indians have their tradition. The Scandinavians have. What is our tradition? Where do we stand? What morals do you have as a nation and say, as for Ghana, this is how we do things? What?
We are our hospitality values are there. Sometimes maybe we overdo it, but I think what
being
has
hospitable is not a tradition.
it's a value.
But people go to America is hosting a lot of people.
No, America is looking
When you
for
go
people
there,
who want
when
to
you go
work.
to Britain, they welcome you. Wherever you go, they welcome you.
It's not everywhere that you are
It's not
treated.
tradition.
You are
They have
treated
a
like
tradition.
that.
They have.
If it
a
wasn't for
certain-
work, that Americans want us to come over there to work, or the British or the Canadians want us to come and do all the menial jobs, do you think they give a damn about us?
But there are people who are into serious positions in those countries.
Yes, but they are using them. It's the same brain drain thing. You know, they want like all this visa lottery thing. They select
So,
and take the best. They
select
look
and
at
take
they
the
look.
best.
Okay, this guy is a computer scientist. Let's employ him here.
So-
this guy is
So they do that.
yes. They're not going to pick anybody.
you sit
They
here-
just give them
you
a.
sit there and you allow people who will come and beg on your streets. Where you can go to Niger, Mali, Burkina to go and do that. Even them, they have a structured system that you can't just walk to Burkina Faso or Niger, go and stand on the roadside to go and beg. Go and put table anywhere and begin selling. Here, anybody gets here, do whatever he or she wants.
So
is
then,
that how a society should run?
No. Such a society will not flourish. I'm sure that's why we are going through everything we're going through now. Because, first of all, we have issues regarding standards, values, and where we stand in terms of where we are going, developmentally, philosophically.
We don't have. Look, the late Gaddafi and Libya, they have proper plan. They're able to project as to what will happen in the next 15 years. How many children will be in primary schools, in secondary schools, in the tertiary institution. They will come out, they work, house and other things. As at the time Gaddafi was killed, there were millions of flats that were not occupied in Libya. You understand? And these are what. How many years did Kwame Nkrumah spend on the throne as president? But almost everything we are enjoying today was done by Nkrumah. Is he not a human being?
Yeah, he's a human being.
Everything boils down to planning. What are we planning? What are we planning? You come and tell me you have one district, one factory. You go and paint someone's old building. A company called Yomat comes and rent the place. And you go and put this one factory tag there. You put bed, 2 deep freezer on that thing that you are selling. And within 3 months, the place is closed down. And still in your books, claiming you've done
a factory.
What God knows. If you live in a country where lies is king and queens, this is what happens. What are the plans to ensure that the students we are churning out come out to do so? Now go to the universities. Go there, go and see things for yourself. Science and technology schools are today running law. They are doing communication. Why in this world do you go like this?
So you think we've lost our way?
We've lost our way and we need to go back to the drawing board, get into our old parts and see where we can straighten it and move. By beginning from the education sector, because our education is in a mess. The education is in a mess.
Yeah, the education.
You are producing people who can't reason. And the education minister went and said it.
The education minister said we are producing people
Of
who
course.
cannot reason.
Yes.
That's a serious statement.
And he said it at the UN, one of the UN conferences they went. You don't
So
have
what-
critical thinkers. You need critical thinkers to think and come up with solutions. What are the school churning out? What? Go to KNU University. And when there's light of, they sleep in darkness. They plan there, and a science and technology institution cannot even produce a milk thing, let alone to produce a plan to solve their
Energy issue.
energy issue.
Frankly,
Now go to UCC. They are now doing nursing there because our forefathers saw that we will need, aside the training colleges, we need people who have to come with special fields. That's why UCC and Winneba was picked up. Today go there and they are doing political science. University of Education, Winneba is running political science.
so basically we've lost.
They are running. So what are they going to come up with? Everybody has become politician. Now we come polytechnics. We rename it. That's what we are best at. Oh, technical university. Accra Polytechnic. Those doing civil engineering. Accra Polytechnic doesn't have a data on institutions, companies running things that they are teaching in the school. For the kids to even go and do attachment there. Now when you are there, your attachment is due, you have to go and look for a company to go and do attachment there. Why in those days, all the companies are there. Those are your stakeholders. You engage them, you see what they are into, then you churn out products that suits that industry. So you should have a data that Kofi Nyama go to this institution and go and have your attachment. They don't go and look for companies to go and do attachment. I sit here, and the lecturers and the managers there will go on strike, that they are demanding not even their salary, allowance. I have relatives who are teaching in university outside the country. They don't just employ you. It's on contract because at the end of the year, the student will assess you whether you'll be maintained in the school or not. But here everybody gets there and they are there doing their own thing. The lecturers who are always on strike, oh, we are demanding increment in this, we are doing. What are they churning out? What kind of skills are they imparting in the students? That the whole school cannot even have a data to ensure that each student can be posted there to do attachment. Just go and sit down and read some old books, old theories, then we go out and say we've graduated from school. There's far apart what industry is doing and what the universities are producing.
Okay, so you're saying that we have to sort of merge the education system with industry so that they work hand in hand. So we have industries that is ready to take people coming from this particular sector within education, filling in the industrial, work so that everything will go hand in hand. There's a lot of work to do there.
You can say we should expand our export, or we should increase export drive. We know what we can export. Has the government taken upon itself to say, oh, we are going to Afram Plains to go and do maybe pepper, the big one, what we call chili? It's very demanding. And that alone can solve our problem. Even maize alone, if we don't do anything at all, and we go into maize plant, we can do it.
You really, are you serious? Just maize
Just maize.
or chili pepper can
Just
solve
maize.
our problems.
Just maize. You have all these things. Toy is there. You collapse it. And you are allowing your cronies to bring in finished products. Because when you get the crude, you get the petrol, what we call petrol here. You get it from petrol. After you've extracted the petrol, you get the diesel. You add other chemicals to get the diesel. After the diesel, you get kerosene. After kerosene, you get the LPG gas from it. After the LPG, you get what we call bitumen. So if Toy is buying even the crude at $10 billion, at the end of the day, you get the money, get profit, and save some. Why? All the products has demand. All the products have demand. Nothing is waste when it comes to crude. So why is store not functioning? Why? Recently we heard that the BBC owns the government about $650 million.
BBC owns our government.
Yes, the BDCs.
Oh, okay.
Those filling stations that
Yeah.
they go and take the product. Even now they bring it themselves, but the tax component on it they don't pay.
So why do we have?
If you have companies who have taken our money, because nobody goes to credit fuel. Nobody goes to the filling station to go and credit. Maybe it's the station who will go and credit, but the majority of the people don't credit fuel. You go and you pay hard cash. So if they are owing you $650 million, you don't go for it. During the COVID, our economy is sinking. During the COVID, did you hear any of the countries Baumia and Anadu used to compare Ghana with? Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Burkina Faso. Did they go to IMF to go and take $1 billion? They go to IMF to take $950 million. Did they go to bank their local banks to take over 20 million cedis? Where are the money? So when I see people saying the COVID has brought a lot of hardship, the COVID was a blessing in disguise. The COVID period brought in more revenue than any year. What are we using the money for? What are we using the money for?
All right, Franklin. People, viewers, you can understand that Ghana really we need to set up, especially for young people. We need to understand that our country is an agricultural country. We need to take agriculture serious. We need to be self-sufficient, first of all, in food. We cannot be importing all kinds of things and expect that our country will be independent. We cannot also be borrowing monies every time and expect that people are just going to give us money. What's going to happen is they're going to tell us, you do ABC, or else you are not going to get the money. So it's slavery, it's dependency, and we need to evolve. We need to get out of that syndrome or that system, because we've been going to IMF for this is the 17th time that Ghana is going to IMF. So if something positive was going to emerge out of that, it would have happened by now. So the ball is in your court. For young people, this show is dedicated to you. The People's Show is about you. You decide. You make the analysis and you decide, because we will have to do something I keep saying on the People's Show, nobody is coming to save us. Nobody is coming to just bring a magic wand and then everything is going to turn around and then there are jobs for everybody. You graduate from the university, the job is waiting for you. You graduate from the vocational institute and then the skill or the job or whatever is waiting for you. We will all have to do what? Apply ourselves. We will all have to contribute our quota in building this nation. Because our grandchildren, our children's children cannot come and say the same thing. Cannot come and meet this same narrative. The narrative must what? Change. The narrative must be what? Must be a better narrative. Because you've heard Franklin. Everything he's saying is what the people are saying. Everything he said about the 2023 budget, it gives nobody hope. I mean, we are in our country, we cannot employ our own people because somebody says, don't employ your public sector people. I mean, so we will have to do what? Think. Franklin said, we need critical thinkers. He said, the educational minister said, we are educating people who cannot reason. That's a very serious statement. And maybe we need to do a show on education so that we will be able to get to the bottom, the root of how we can have people who can think, people who can come out with the ideas that can nurture, can transform, can evolve our society, where we will be standing on our feet, not dependent on anybody for money, ideas, policy initiatives. No, we must be able to drive our own. We must be masters of our economy, masters of our world. And that is why the People's Show is here, dedicated to you and to our generation, to guarantee that you can make the difference. I can make a difference because nobody is coming to save us. All too soon, this is what we have for today's show. And I believe that you have learned something. I have learned something. What I learned is we must go back, Sankofa, to the basics. Agriculture, education that recognizes your skill, what you can offer, not what you are trying to be like somebody else. No. This is something you and I have to do what? Contribute and make sure that we can all make it happen. I believe that Franklin will come over another time and support that. But Franklin, before you go, what do you want to say to the youth? What do you want to tell the youth? Because I believe no matter what happens, it is the youth that are going to bear the crush of the matter.
Yeah, before I come to the youth, whoever sat with IMF and agreed that there should be freeze on employment for 3 years, should tell them that they should close the university for 3 years, so that at least you know that we are not churning out people to come and be working on the street. If they don't think, there are some of the things. They should go back and ensure that, because you can't just come and tell us you shouldn't employ without giving any alternative. World Bank is supporting Youth Start. What is Youth Start? If that money can be even used to do one mechanization, do proper. When you go to now, there are a lot of this mechanized farms and other things that Nkrumah and other people began. When you are going to Walwale, there's one there. There's one there. It has left to rot. Why can't we engage the youth and go there, use the money to start up, and bring those who did agri, those who did marketing, other things, come on board, then we start something. Then you know that we're beginning from somewhere. And the youth, you see, it has become so easy for the youth front to be polarized on partisan basis.
Because they also don't
other
have any
people,
hope.
other places, they also do politics. But after elections, politics cease. if we have a national agenda that we are pushing, nobody will come and do what he or she wants. Nobody will come and do what he or she wants. Let's speak truth to power. Let's be honest to ourselves. And I believe we can move somewhere.
All right. Let's speak truth to power. Let's be honest with ourselves, and we can move forward. These are the words coming from our resource person today, Franklin Asare Donkor Jr., who is a social commentator and a journalist. And I believe we've learned a thing or two. I believe you know that nobody is coming to save us. Nobody is coming to save us from this situation that we are in. That you and I have a role to play. And so, on that note, I would like to say this is what we have for you today on the People's Show. My name is Comrade Kolete Obuade, and I have been on the show with Franklin Asare Donkor, and I know he'll be here again because he always has this insight. He's a passionate believer in Ghana, and he believes that we can make a difference if we start to do what? To be sincere, to speak truth to power, and to believe in ourselves. Thank you for watching and for being on the People's Show. Now, until we come your way next time, it's been Comrade Kolete Obuade on the People's Show. And remember, the truth is always here in your eyes.
Studios 2 View. The truth is here in your eyes.